like this basement area where it's like super locked down. He's all the way at the bottom and he's like chained up. And something happens when you're walking in the hallway, and then you're in the room, and then you kind of have to. I don't know. They make it seem like you gotta sneak out of the room and into the hallway, down the hallway into the next room. But like he just gets out of the chains and runs at you as soon as you walk out of that room, the first one. So I guess you just have to run into that next room and just crouch, sneak around, and shoot him when his back is turned, the same way like in the original. But there's chains hanging from the ceiling now, um, of that pretty much like the the symbol that they use throughout the game for their cult. Um, there's those chains hanging from the ceiling, and if you're standing up, you're gonna hit all of them. You have to crouch and like walk in between them and kind of maneuver that way. Um, but yeah, I did that. I got through the garden area of the castle, like the whole garden maze. Um, then there was another sequence which was pretty cool. You're like on the outside castle walls, and there's like another El Gigante, but it's more heavily armored than the last one you had to fight.
Is
I
that in
also
the
fought
original?
him. No, I don't think this fight was, because it wasn't like you fighting him really. It was more dodging the rocks and boulders he throws at you,
Ah,
and then you find a cannon, you shoot him in the face with a cannon, and then he falls over, which was
interesting.
yeah, it was cool. I like how they like I said, they just add so much stuff to this game. It's crazy,
Awesome.
and pretty much most of it so far that I've seen works pretty darn well.
Have they made any connections to Resident Evil 7 yet?
Um,
Or have you not reached that far to know that yet?
Not that I've seen so far. I think there's 16 chapters, and I'm on 9, so I'm
Okay.
more than halfway. But
I remember them saying when they initially was making this game that this is, I mean, every one of them is connecting to RA7 again because again, essentially that's the reboot.
yeah, I'm not sure um, if there's going to be anything for that just yet, but maybe towards the end we'll see something. But
I'm sure we will. You got anything else?
um,
Did you complete your assignment from last week?
oh, um, no.
Mm.
Wow, the only one.
Here I am playing the Resident Evil 4 demo when you told me to play it, right? Kevin did his
Well,
job, Adam did his job, and you
Yeah.
decided you didn't wanna do
Well,
yours,
you
huh?
only did half of your job, Justin.
Oh, okay, I'm
Well,
sorry.
he had more
I did
work, so we'll give him
That's true.
we give him some slack on that.
Then we let go of the rope.
Ooh. That was like a construction simulator type of joke.
Uh-huh. All right, Dustin, I'm assuming that's all you did.
no. I played Symmetry Prime before I got my hands on RE4. And all I've been playing since I got RE4 is RE4.
You're eating pretty well. I mean, you got Metroid Prime and Resident Evil 4 to play. Like
And Dead
this is a good
Space.
year. Yeah, this is a good year for you so far.
Yeah, we've been meaning to talk. You're getting fat.
Yeah.
This is the year
It's,
of the doors.
What?
You'll get it. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Oh, the fours. I thought you said the forest.
No, not the four. No. We don't talk about that game. No.
Genesis, it's our
else.
time. It's the year of the forest. Mommy and Daddy have created the Sons of the Forest.
Yes, we have. Yes. Eventually, Mommy and Daddy will be playing the Sons of the Forest.
No, please. He's probably right, but no.
I did clock in 15 hours and 49 minutes so far
Oh,
in the
late to work.
hardcore
That
run I'm
sucks.
doing. Um, okay, what else? I watched more Peaky Blinders today.
Hell yeah.
I finished season 3. I only had one episode left of that.
Mm-hmm.
And what a crazy ending. And then it
Yep.
hit season 4, and
Yep.
then it's all nullified.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, everything. It's like a new video game. It's just, hey, the the prequel, the one before this, no good. No good. Start over.
Yeah.
Winter.
But unfortunately, somebody died. Pretty unexpected. I didn't think that
Oh,
was going to
yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think these
Um,
people care, so you just talk about it.
oh, John.
Yeah.
John Shelby dies. Unfortunate. He was a good dude. I really liked his character the whole way through.
I didn't like him the first season. I was like, this kid's nothing. And then
Well,
I did
yeah,
like him.
he's just like being like that like
Little brother. He's literally the
yeah,
little brother throughout the entire show, and he's kind of like just annoying at first. Then you
and
get to
like
know him,
really
and it's like,
cocky, and then he kind
yeah,
of does more, and
he grows into his own.
yeah, he builds his character throughout
Yeah,
after the first season.
yeah. I was pretty upset when he died.
Yeah, it was so out of nowhere, but I guess that's what the New York Mafia does,
So the
or
New
the
York,
Italian
hey,
Mafia.
Lucas and Greta. Hey.
That guy, the way he talks is fucking crazy.
The way everyone talks in that show is wild.
Oh God, we got Alfie going
Oh.
off on literally for like 3 minutes straight. He was just screaming at him.
Oh man, so good though.
Oh my God, that was great.
Got,
And somebody like telling Tommy straight up in his face why he didn't cross the line because of everything Tommy's done before that. Like, and
Love it.
then he also admitted that he didn't even know about his son being
Yeah.
taken, but he doesn't give a fuck. I mean,
No.
why should he?
No. So good. Hey, you guys don't watch
Oh
Peaky
man,
Blinders? Highly recommend just looking up Tom Hardy scenes. You're gonna be like, what
yeah,
the fuck is this
so
guy
funny.
saying? It's so
Oh
good.
God, man, that one scene made up for a lot of the episodes where he wasn't there.
Yeah. There's
And
just never enough. I could watch a whole show about him.
yeah, I don't know if I told you about the show before. It's one of his shows on BBC.
Oh.
I feel like I did. It's pretty much him, in like a similar type of setting, but more like, oh,
Are you talking about the one where he has a half sister?
yeah,
That was on FX.
Taboo.
Yeah, that was on FX.
Yeah.
That was not a BBC show. That was an American show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was one of, after FX with Sons of Anarchy and stuff. They were like, hey, we need an old-timey show to compete with everything else. So they put that out.
Yeah.
I saw like a clip of it once. I think he was talking to his half-sister or something.
Yeah, it was a really good show.
It's only one season, right? Yeah.
Odd that he didn't, I guess he got busy with other things.
See, that's why I never started it. I was like, I'll wait till they get more, and then all of a sudden, just nothing ever happened. It just ended.
Yeah, doesn't seem like any,
Is it like a full story, that one season, or is it... Did it seem like a second season was going to happen, but it just never did?
I don't remember clearly.
Look it up.
Apparently, the BBC announced it would be coming back for a second season back in 2017.
Oh, it was BBC. Never mind, you were right. I was wrong.
Yeah, I guess they showed it on
Yeah,
FX,
FX. Yeah,
but it was
I must have bought that. Weird.
yeah. But nothing since then. Wait,
What? No, 6 days ago.
wait. Oh yeah,
It's surprising
I
season
didn't
2
get to read
6
anymore.
years later. The fuck?
Maybe he's not as busy anymore
Yeah,
with
I
whatever else
guess.
he's doing.
It's just a possibility, and we're working on a second season of Taboo. Interesting. Okay. All right. I mean, I might wait till season 2 comes out, and then I'll catch up.
It's cool because he pretty much has the same exact look that he does as Alfie
Yeah.
in Peaky Blinders,
Does he speak
and
the
I
same?
think he speaks in a similar accent.
I gotta listen to that man speak all day because it's so funny. It's so threatening, but also so funny. Because he can just be like, ah, bah, 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 and then all of a sudden he's like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, I want to laugh at this man, but if I laugh, he will kill me. I can't think of any other actor who can do that with only their voice.
Yeah.
And the weird looks he gives.
Oh my god.
Oh! it's just like, you know that look where he looks up and it's like he's like staring down but looking up? Oh my god, it's so fucking weird. What an actor. What an actor. Peaky Blinders, glad you're watching that. I'm glad you're still making your way through.
Yeah.
You got 20 more episodes to go.
Yes.
Not like you probably got like 16. It's really not that
Producer
many.
confirmed work has officially begun.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's better than nothing.
It's better than Warrior Season 3.
Oh man.
Nobody said anything about it. What the fuck?
Well, didn't they confirm that too? They just haven't said anything else?
They said, hey, it's happening.
Right.
That's
okay.
it. Then they left. Then they were like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
Oh, they started filming on it July 2022 for Warrior Season 3. Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, let's go. We are cooking.
June 29th, 2023 on HBO. Boom. There we go. Boom.
Oh. Oh.
Holy shit.
That's only 2 months away.
That's not far at all. Hell yeah. Wow, this turned out to be a good day.
This is a good day. Found out
I
about
got
2
Barry
shows.
coming back next month and then the month after. And I got something else probably. Oh man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So
Probably
much
next year.
Taboo next year. Just so much is happening.
You should check that out though. It's another like pretty dark, gritty London 1800s show.
Yeah, I mean it looked good. I just like to wait until
James
like there's more.
Delaney. Yeah. Yeah, that was I think it was like 12.
Because I hate watching one season of a show and then waiting 7 years for the next season to come out, which is literally what you've done for this.
Yeah. Oh, there's only 8 episodes.
Oh, yeah, it's a BBC show.
Yeah.
It'll be on for 17 years, but like 30 episodes will come out. All right, watch or play anything else? You see John Wick 4?
Yeah, I forgot to do the tickets for that, and that offer's gone. So I think one of my friends are coming up from New York on Friday. So me, him, and another Kevin are probably gonna go watch that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Friday or Saturday.
Hope you enjoy it.
I thought I watched something. I watched a few things today, and I just stopped watching it because I think I've been watching too many like docu-series lately,
Mm.
and it was getting boring listening to people talk, and that's why I went back to Peaky Blinders.
That's fair.
um,
Where you hear
yeah,
fun people talk.
yeah, and things
Polly Gray.
happen.
Fucking Arthur Shelby. Hey, fucking right, Tommy. Tommy Shelby. Tommy, fuck out of here. Polly Gray.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Honestly, if you watch the show Genesis, it would all make sense. It
I'm,
sounds
I'm,
like
I'm sure it
nonsense
would.
to me.
I'm sure it makes
Until
sense.
you watch it, and then you're like, oh, okay. Those are solid impressions.
Yeah, uh, he's too good. I think that's it. I was going to watch the part two of You season four, but I I didn't think I had enough time for that today, so I think that
Mm,
might be tomorrow
okay.
thing because I just want to watch it all in one go.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool.
Alrighty then. Moving on from our initial, couple of questions here. Kevin, you're up, my
Mhm.
friend.
Can
The
you got
show
something
is
to
all
talk about?
yours.
No.
Oh boy.
You said you didn't have anything, or was that last week? I don't think you have anything.
That was last week.
No, I'm pretty sure you
This
said you
week
don't have anything.
we got the meat and potatoes. All right.
Ooh,
I
better
like
than
meat
a
and
So
garbage
potatoes.
plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. All right. So if you know me, or you've been listening to this podcast, and I know there's nobody who's listening to this podcast.
I
Hey,
mean,
hey,
technically,
hey,
we're
hey.
listening.
I mean, yeah, we got
That's fair.
viewers. It's us.
Uh,
There was that guy,
so
Komodo Dragon 55, whatever the fuck his name was.
You mean Last Gamble Kev?
Yeah, whatever.
you know, even though that the lead into Diablo 4 here, I've not been impressed at all. I've been hating on this
False.
game. Oh, okay. So,
Okay.
open beta came around 24th to the 26th, and I was like, all right, well, we gotta play it because I gotta know, we gotta talk about it, and we'll break it all down. Here we go. Uh, Started playing it. Let me tell you something. I was wrong. This game was fun as shit. Um,
Wow.
Adam Star was right.
so, um, not really showing off well initially at BlizzCon. Um, and then honestly, most of the stuff that came after that, until like more recently, when they were just sort of like talking, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, 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 sure." Um, Most of it really wasn't that great of a showing compared to what we have now. So they must have like improved a whole bunch based off of like feedback that they were getting, or they held a lot back that they shouldn't have. The combat still looks really slow when you watch gameplay, but when you're playing it, it's actually not too bad. It's not too badly paced. It is slower than usual in terms of you don't just like walk into a room, hit one button, and everything dies. Um, it's possible that that will happen in Endgame. I don't know. I want to say probably not. It looks like they're trying to get more of an interesting combat scenario going on here, and it may be taking a sort of Guild Wars 2-ish take to character strength, where all stats and numbers stay lower and more reasonable. Um, God, I can only hope. Um, because health pool is a lot lower. It's a lot more like Diablo 1 and 2. So the closed beta went up to level 25. Unclear as what the max level is because I've heard 100 thrown around. The achievements say 50. Diablo 3's max level was 60. Diablo 2's was 100. Who knows? It's somewhere in here. But regardless, at level 25 in Diablo 3, I want to say you're probably sitting around a couple thousand to maybe 5,000 health, depending on how gear has been dropping for you. In this game, 400-ish is what I had. um, and damage numbers are way, way low. Breaking 1,000 is actually somewhat of a challenge. For your damage against enemies, I mean. Um, I did manage to do it, but I had a lot of stuff working in my favor. We'll get to that in a second. Uh, but I played the Rogue because I was curious to see how the hell they did Rogue. And they basically took the Rogue from Diablo 1, the Assassin from Diablo 2, and the Demon Hunter from Diablo 3 and smashed them all together in a way that oddly works. Um, the Rogue is able to do melee with, I don't know if it's exclusively two one-handed weapons or if you can do a two-handed weapon, but I kept it two one-handed weapons. I don't know that a lot of two-handed weapons dropped, and they seem to focus everything on the class that you are playing, much like they did in the later stages of Diablo 3. So I'm gonna hedge a guess that you can't do two-handed weapons for melee. But you also can equip a bow at the same time, and the stats from the bow still matter even if you're not using it. Which is a very interesting thing when it comes to a game like Diablo, where normally it's just whatever weapon you're actively using. Especially since the barbarian can hold up to 4 weapons of pretty much any melee kind. So I didn't play the barbarian, so I can't really comment on how that works, but I'm intrigued to play one now. So anyway, where to start? So first of all, Diablo 4 is set up much closer to an MMO on paper. In execution, you wouldn't know unless you wanted it to be one, and I applaud them for this. This is fantastic. They really wanted to sell all the new mechanics and stuff that they were throwing in, which is totally fine. It makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't you talk about the new mechanics you're putting in? So they would talk about world events and world bosses and how you'll see other players out in the world. You'll be able to automatically party up in a way with them in the background, and like you'll be able to work together to complete world events or kill enemies, and you both get experience and loot that is instanced for you, so you're not fighting over the same stuff, and blah 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 blah. And so everybody was kind of like, "Oh, it's going to be an MMO. How are you going to make Diablo an MMO?" It don't feel like one. It still feels like an ARPG through and through. You have things in the game that are MMO-like, and if you really want to play it like one, you probably could, but you don't have to at all. When I leveled up, I mostly just ran around to different dungeons because if you clear, well, not if, when you clear a dungeon for the first time, you get an aspect for a particular class. Aspects are basically like legendary item affixes that you can have on you permanently to instill into rare items, upgrading them to a legendary item, which is a very interesting concept and works out really well later on. Um, but since there's like a reason to explore and do these dungeons because you were going to get things even if it wasn't for the character you were actively playing, I believe it is account wide. Um, I started doing those. Occasionally did a side quest or two. Hit level 25 about the main storyline of Act 1 is maybe 10, 11 quests. I had like 4 or 5 completed, and then I hit 25. It took me about 6 hours. Really wasn't a big ordeal. Didn't have to do anything close to an MMO. There's I can't really see this game having like daily quests or anything like that because it wouldn't make sense unless they were like going to give you some reason to do it, like giving you a bunch of weapons and like a cash, like a bag, um, as like a reward for completing them or something. Then maybe, but like there's not really a reason to do it. There's a lot of things that are in the beta that feel like the systems they support are not in the beta. So you get all kinds of crafting materials that you're fighting, and you only use like half of them in the beta. You have, especially the plants, you have plants dropping left, right, and center of all different kinds, and you got like berries and crap. And the only things you can really use them on is making some elixirs that you really don't need, unless you want an XP boost and maybe an armor boost. I honestly don't even know what the rest of them do because I forgot to like use them most of the time. or you're upgrading the strength of your potions, which you only need to do once per 10 levels. So, yeah. And then the other stuff was like lumps of iron and silver and whatnot, which you use to upgrade weaponry or armor and stuff, which only slightly boosts the stats on them. So it wasn't really that important. I'm assuming you'll be able to do a lot more crafting in the full game, and they just don't want to like show too much right now. That's fine and dandy, whatever. Um, there's a few things that I didn't get the materials for in the game, where you can add sockets to weapons. This is new-ish. I think Diablo 2 might have had a formula for this, but it was a lot more complicated than what this is going to be. This seems relatively straightforward and possibly more common, which would be very interesting. Because sockets could swing things, although I'm not really impressed with gems so far. But overall, like the crafting stuff, I don't think we really got a good idea of what crafting is going to entail in this. Um, Itemization. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place because there's too much to talk about, but we just got to keep up. Itemization is strange, but I like it. Um, Normally in Diablo games, you get weird stats or incredibly like generic stats. Uh, like, oh, you get extra health regen, you get extra gold pickup range, or there's stats like um, this weapon has a 35% chance to do 300% of the attack's damage as an added bleed to your target over the next 5 seconds, or whatever the hell. This kind of stuff is mostly gone, unless it's a legendary item and quite possibly a unique item, but there were 0 unique items in the beta, so they're keeping all that secret. Um, Most of the stats on items in this are very broad, which allows for a lot more interesting methods of play. But the most common stats are things that are doing small percentage increases to damage to close range enemies, damage to far range enemies, damage to enemies that are vulnerable, damage to enemies that are crowd controlled, things like this, which you can set up your build to go around. Enemies that are stunned. This is one of the reasons I broke thousands of damage with an ability. I had 3 different items that gave me boosts to damage against stunned targets, which I was able to do on command with a 100% chance to stun. So I was doing something like 154% extra damage to stunned targets for 2 seconds, um, which is like nothing compared to what Diablo 3 had. Because Diablo 3, like, they made that game over time revolve around sets for different classes as opposed to just letting items be items. They really went ham on sets, and there's sets that are like a good set usually increases your damage by like 7,000 to 10,000%, versus like good stuff in this beta was like somewhere between 100 and 200%, and sometimes you had to get multiple items to get to that point. Um, I'm so glad all these numbers are going down because the numbers in Diablo 3 were astronomical. Like, hitting people for 16 trillion damage is like commonplace in the end game. Um,
16. How much health are we talking about here with 16
they would have
trillion damage?
hundreds of trillions.
What?
Okay, all right, good,
Yeah.
fantastic. I'm glad.
So like I said, I'm glad the numbers have come
uh,
down. Because Diablo 2 wasn't like that. Diablo 2, like an enemy that had thousands of health was a lot. Um, so let's see, itemization, like it's interesting because it's a lot more about like your play style than trying to find gear that's supporting your skills, even though that also exists because it can give you pluses to different skills in your skill tree, which is a hot mess, but we'll get there in just a moment. Um, I'm still worried about these uniques because when they first showed them off, they literally copy pasted things from Diablo 3, and I'm like, please just give us something that's new, please. But the legendary items are all new, so I guess that's something at least. Um, It's been a hot minute. They seem to have improved a lot. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that some of the unique items are actually brand new. So the skill tree is, oh my god, this screen needs to change. I hate it. I hate this screen. There's nothing wrong with the functionality of the skill tree. You have your skills broken down into different categories, which for some reason are not on the tooltip for the skill itself. So whenever a piece of equipment gives you a plus to skills, it's basically giving you extra ranks in that skill, and you can go above the maximum. It'll say like +1 to agility skills, +1 to base skills, +1 to subterfuge. And the only way you can figure out what your skills are is to go into the skill tree and hover over the icon at the center of that part of the tree to figure out what they're called. Because you would think that if you mouse over whatever the hell skill in your bar, right underneath the name of the skill would be like the classification of the skill. So like, twisting daggers would be a core skill, or dash is an agility skill, and it would say that there. No, 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 no. Minor gripe. Really bothersome though. The skill tree is this weird zigzag downward. I don't know why they're opposed to making it a freaking straight line, but because it's a zigzag, and all the squares are like, I don't know how to describe this right. The squares that like assign ranks to skills are very small, but also are spread apart in such a way within this window that you can't zoom out too far, because then you won't know what the hell you're clicking on. But if you stay zoomed into an appropriate level, you have to continue to drag this window around, and it's got to be a nightmare for everybody on consoles. And I apologize for all of you. Oh my god, there's so many better ways to do this. But that needs to change. That UI in particular is awful. The rest of the UI is at least passable. The character stats window is kind of junk. It literally is just like text in text boxes. They could really do a lot more with like flair on that. But fundamentally, everything in the UI works. Uh, you didn't really have a whole lot of skill points to work with in the beta, which also I kind of like. It makes you really focus on certain things. Um, the skill tree set up in such a way where like each skill you could choose to put ranks in has a few things coming off of it, and it's usually one passive buff to it, and then that one splits off into two others, but you can only choose one or the other in the tree. Um, yeah, I had an interesting build going on where I mainly use the skill Twisting Daggers, which you stab both of these like knives into a target. They stay in there for about 2.5 seconds, and then they come out of the target and retract back to you, hitting everything along that line. I coupled this with Shadow Step, which teleports you to a target and you stab it immediately, stunning it because of what I put passively on it, as well as dashes, two charges of dash. So I basically just stabbed stuff and then flew around the map and killed everything with the blades that came back to me, as opposed to actually directly attacking everything, and it was super fun. Um, it's, I don't know, it's a much more active combat system than Diablo 3, and I kind of really like it. Um, while I guess we're talking about combat, bosses are interesting. There's some really challenging ones, but they're kind of artificially challenging in the beta because um, bosses that have any form of like a trap, and I use that term real loosely, like if a spider's shooting webbing around that somehow classifies as a trap, I mean, I guess it's a trap. Um, if an enemy actually has traps or snares, these count too. They never despawn, ever. So throughout the fight, they just keep using these skills, and eventually you can't walk anywhere without tripping these things. So that's kind of dumb because you can dodge most other things. But the glaring issue with boss fights, they're really trying to make it, I don't want to like say like Dark Souls because it's really not a great comparison, but like similar in vein where you have to dodge telegraphed attacks and stuff. I guess kind of like World of Warcraft. We'll go with, except it's not like a certain set rotation of skills all the time. The problem is it has the exact same issue that Diablo 3 had on release that I don't know if they actually fixed or not, where if an enemy of any kind, including bosses, is winding up a normal, non-telegraphed attack, and it gets far enough in the animation, it will hit you, no matter what you do, unless you use a displacement skill. You can't outrun it, even if you can physically outrun it. It will still hit you, which is highly annoying, and hopefully they actually fix that. But overall, boss fights are really good. There's a lot of complaints about how like repetitive they were because there was only like 3 or 4 different bosses in the beta, but that makes sense because why would you want to show them all? Also, Diablo's kind of known for reusing enemies and bosses, unless they're named bosses. But speaking of named bosses, the Butcher, one of the more famous bosses of Diablo, is a random spawn anywhere in dungeons. I don't know what level it starts at, but basically think like the Resident Evil 2 remake when Mr. X just comes along. That's kind of like the Butcher, and he will fuck you up, and it is fantastic. It's actually terrifying when you hear it. So that was a really interesting new thing for Diablo. Uh, oh boy, what else? What else? Gems are really lackluster in armor. I feel like they need to change up what they do because there's pretty much only two that you would ever like use. One increases the amount of health you get, and one is damage reduction while crowd controlled. The other things are so specific, and they won't come up as often. I forget exactly what they all were, but I was like, why would you choose any of these? And why are these not like extra resource generation? Life regen is nowhere on a gem, um, or other like useful things. XP increases, whatever. It's just the other gem types when you stock them in armor. It's such a specific damage reduction that it would almost never come up in the game. Um, the weapon slots and the jewelry slots, they're fine. It's really the armor sockets. Legendary items are interesting because they have minor adjustments to skills, or they'll do some kind of interesting buff to damage. Some of them that I remember off the top of my head. I had an item that every time you finish a dash skill, you drop a smoke bomb immediately, dazing enemies in the area. I had Shadow Step now gains a second charge, and upon hitting an enemy, you gain movement speed, I think it was. Um, Things like this. These legendary affixes are now officially called aspects, which you can go to the occultist vendor and take off of that item and then re-put it on a rare item. However, when you take that aspect off and you put that aspect on a rare item, you can no longer remove that again. So you can't just keep rinse repeating. You would have to find that aspect again. The only ones that seem to be permanent are the rewards you get from first clearing dungeons. Um, which is interesting because you're able to actually like get two item stats. Like you're able to get item stats that you really want for your build in different ways now. Because just because you get a legendary, that legendary might roll poorly, but you want the property, and then you get a rare item that rolls what you want. So now you can smash the two together and move on with your life. Some of the aspects are also more powerful on certain types of gear. It seemed to mostly be amulets for the ones that I got, but I'd like to think that they get other um, armor and weapon slots involved as well. Quests are all over the place. Some of them are long, some of them are super short, some of them are stupid, where you just walk up to someone and you emote and then you're done. I hate those. They should all go away. That's my personal gripe. There's nothing wrong with those quests. Yeah, lot more I'm sure I need to talk about, and I'm just drawing blanks now. Overall, though, I was very impressed with this game. Will I pre-order it? More than likely. Um, I really just wish it was still going on because I want to play more. I want to play some of the other classes. I've heard the balance is all over the place with the different classes in the game currently, but like it's also only levels 1 through 25. That's not really an excuse, but like it is just the early game in an ARPG, and usually those are all over the place with all classes. So yeah, and I think the end game slightly concerns me because it seems to be basically the same thing that we had in Diablo 3, except you have to walk to places because dungeons and nightmare dungeons are essentially rifts and greater rifts, but you have to walk somewhere specific to go into them. Hopefully, this turns out to be wrong. Um, Nightmare dungeons technically should be feeling way different because it screws with different global affixes for the dungeon where things might do more fire damage, or certain traps might spawn more often, or whatever have you. But I guess only time will tell with that. Trying to think of anything else. The controls were fine, the sound was fine, the graphics were fine. Oh, there is also a performance issue in the game with graphics cards. Probably the way the game handles video RAM. The graphics cards are using too much for what they're doing. It basically, the game is almost like maxing out graphics cards when you're on certain graphical settings for essentially no reason, and it's causing cards to heat up quite a bit. Not necessarily overheat, unless you're talking about the supposedly anyway, the 3080 Ti NVIDIA card, namely from Gigabyte, I guess, although I don't know how true or not that is. These cards are apparently being bricked by the game. If you're playing at high or higher texture graphic settings, I lowered all of mine because there was random hitching for no reason. So when I did that and I turned on DLSS, everything was fine, everything was Gucci, and the game ran like butter. Yeah, good connectivity with the server. Not really a whole lot to complain about. A lot of other crap that I could like nitpick, but explaining it without like actually having pictures of some of these UI elements and crap is a nightmare, so I'm not even gonna try. But I mean, overall, I was very impressed, and I have to actually recommend this game to people if they're into ARPGs because it is pretty darn good.
Okay. Anything
Questions,
else?
comments? Not that I can think of.
Okay. Um.
I got a comment.
So, yeah, please go ahead.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. Kevin, I just want to say one thing. Every time you talked about this game, I always said you're going to change your mind once you play it. Every single time. And again, I'm never wrong. I'm glad I was, this is just one of those moments where I'm glad I was right, because it's like something you like.
I'm glad I was wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I'm glad it wasn't a bad thing and I was right about it. But like, yeah, never wrong. Literally,
Yeah.
never.
Oh no, I fully
This
admit.
feeds that. I just want you to know. The problem is because of
That's
you.
Yep.
So if anybody has an issue, take it up with Kevin. He always does the same thing of like, this looks like shit. Activision sucks. Blizzard sucks. They don't fucking know what they're doing. Then he plays it and he's like, you know what? Actually, they improved on it a lot in the last 38 years they've been working on it, which is shocking because I didn't realize technology jumped in 38 years. So what the fuck happened to him? So, yeah. Glad you like it. Glad it's, I'm just glad. That's all I got.
Dude, oh, so fun.
So,
Yeah,
Kevin, I now, okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm ready.
You don't have the same hatred that I have for Blizzard that I do for Ubisoft, correct?
I don't think anybody has the same hatred
I don't
except
think no, I don't think anybody's on that level.
Construction Simulator with Jeff Keighley.
Oh, that's fair.
Right.
I mean, I don't like Blizzard because they're genuinely an awful company that has done bad things and continues to do bad things. But you know,
Okay.
that doesn't
It's
mean I
So,
honestly
don't
the
like
same with
stop
Ubisoft,
playing
to
the
be
game.
fair.
I
well,
mean,
here's the difference with Ubisoft, right? Even if they gave me what I wanted in Assassin's Creed, they gave me the dream Assassin's Creed that I could get, I would still never play it.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's because Kevin has a hate for the company because they do bad things, but he's also
Mm,
a rational human being. That's the difference you're missing.
I
wow.
see. Okay.
Your
That's
hate is so irrational
right.
that
Right.
it can never be forgiven.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to confirm that because I'm like maybe I am being crazy, but no, I'm not being
No,
crazy.
it just
My
takes
hate
more.
is
It just takes more.
it's
Everybody
never
has that
gonna
one studio.
it's never gonna be enough. It's just they've forever lost me. So
Hey, greatest showman,
Okay,
never enough, you know what I mean?
that's fine. So you're gonna play Diablo 4?
I mean I played Diablo 3, so I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
I mean, I
If
played Diablo 3,
It is
so I don't
crossplay.
know.
maybe if Daddy really wants me to play it, I'll play it with him.
I mean, it is whatever you want to do. I can't make you like a game. So,
Guys, the game's not out yet. Please don't do this back and forth thing of like, you want to play it, we can get it, but figure it out June 6th, all right? I don't
all
have to
right.
hear it till then.
Um,
So
yeah.
in the matter of the couple seconds, I've just pre-ordered the game, so I guess I'll be playing it with you, Kevin. So
What?
Wow.
This man pre-ordered a game that Kevin did not even say, "Hey, definitely play with me." But also, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you ever watch Joker? All this time, you pre-ordered a fucking game that you have to whatever, man. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Um, yeah. No, I think this game is going places. There's a
Shocker.
lot of I've watched a bunch of other people's reactions to the game, and it's interesting because everybody's all over the place on this. Like everybody's bringing up some really interesting qualms they have with the game, where it's like, oh my god, I didn't even think of that. But like, okay, if that bothers you, yeah, sure. Um, Very interesting. Like a lot of it is really good, and then there's some of it where it's like, do you read anything that companies like post while the beta's going on? No, I guess not. All right, cool. Because there's a lot of people who are like, oh my god, items are dropping way too much. When like literally the day that this shit started, or like the day after, Blizzard came out and was like, oh yeah, by the way, we inflated all the drop rates so like people could test all our items. So like that's not how the real game is going to work out. And then everybody's like, legendaries drop too much in like the same thread. Um,
So read. Just read. Learn what the
And it's the same
26 letters
people.
do.
It's the same people who will say, "Legendaries don't drop enough, guys. Can we put this up, please?"
oh, I know. Yeah,
That's also
I
the
agree.
same people who, when the game does come out, they'll be like, well, the beta was better because legendaries dropped, but they never drop now. Be like, this motherfucker.
Oh, there is one thing that I will mention too. Hardcore kind of gets screwed over in this game with world bosses. World bosses are really freaking cool. The world boss that was on display in the beta was quite an interesting fight. But the thing one hit characters on hardcore. Um, and if you're not aware, on hardcore, if your character dies, your character's deleted and you start over.
Oh.
Oh,
Like, so there has to be either, um,
permadeath. Hmm.
yeah, there has to be either like some sort of safety net with these world bosses on hardcore, or like you gotta have really freaking good rewards on hardcore for people who kill these world bosses and actually make it possibly even more worthwhile in hardcore difficulty than any softcore difficulty. Because softcore you can just die over and over and over again. Like even if your equipment breaks, you just go back to town and then walk your ass back to the friggin' area where you're fighting the world boss. Like
I'm
there's
gonna
not
walk
really
my
a
ass.
risk. Yeah. Uh,
Huh?
Huh?
but I don't know that's like I don't know a concern of mine. I guess I don't play hardcore, but I know there's a lot of people who really like to play hardcore,
I
and
like hardcore.
it would really suck if world bosses just basically are a guaranteed death for no gain. Because then why do it? But you know, my 2 cents.
I have a question for you, Kevin.
I'm ready.
Can I have those 2 cents you just dropped?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
You just
Real
gotta find them.
question time. Is
Yep.
this will do you think this will be the most mass appeal Diablo game?
It can be.
Okay.
Um, the reason it can be is it's very accessible. The stats on items are much more easy to
Accessible, you say?
understand. The numbers are going to be a lot lower, it seems at least. So it's more of a tangible, oh, this is how strong I am. Oh, this is like how, good this skill is versus this other skill or whatever. Um, you're able to respec for very little money in the game. And it's not as demanding. The boss fights are the most demanding thing in terms of like player skill, but combat with it being slowed slightly and being more like having to hit enemies multiple times and they also can't like one shot you. I think yeah, it's gonna be a lot more. I don't want to say like that it's gonna be more of a casual game because it's not really right by
Yeah.
definition. But like
I think it's going to appeal to a wider audience.
yeah, new players are going to have a lot more fun, and they're going to be able to like get involved and dive deep into the strategies of the game more easily. Um, and actually, I thought of a thing here while I was thinking of this. Uh, the difficulty of Diablo, I think, needs one solid change. So they're still going to have there are only two difficulties to select from, but they're still going to have like the world difficulty that you can set. I went to veteran because I've been playing Diablo my entire life. Um, so veteran wasn't really all that hard, and the first boss in the game, I literally didn't have to dodge any mechanics because the boss's health bar has these different breakpoints where it is guaranteed to drop 2 potions. You can carry 4 at any one time. So as long as you do enough damage where you can fully heal with those 2 potions that drop, you have no fear fighting these bosses. And then
This
enemies
time
also
to
drop potions like
face
freaking
your
water.
fears.
So I think one huge improvement they can make is as you increase the world difficulty, potions need to drop less, unless like damage from enemies ramps up like uncontrollably, because potions are way too common, or just lower the drop rate across the board for potions. Either way, but oh my god, there were certain fights where I just did not have to worry about mechanics. I could just sit there face tanking it because I did enough damage to kill the boss outright.
I want to face tank something.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot to talk about in this game. I was very impressed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm glad you were extremely
Does that
impressed
answer
by
your question?
this.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, yeah, it did.
Anybody else got any
Anything
questions
else?
for Kevin?
Well,
Kevin, we look forward to your full review of Diablo 4 when you get your hands on it, obviously. Um, and I hope you have just as much fun in the game as you had in the beta.
oh my god, I honestly can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
I am
The
glad for you,
problem,
Kevin.
the big problem here for me is gonna be Counter Strike 2 and Diablo 4 are both coming out around the same time.
Mm.
Well, I guess you're going to have a busy summer.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great time for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Adam, you
Sweet.
got anything?
Oh,
I mean, the wheel of recommendations.
Gotcha. Kevin, I'm sorry I cut you off. Please go ahead
Oh,
next
yeah,
week.
yeah. Next week, Chia review.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty.
It's a good game.
Somewhat.
Adam, go ahead with your wheel of recommendations,
By the
shall
way,
we?
that's what it's called now. Wheel of Recommendations. And
I
everybody
like it.
except one person, not the person we all expected, let's be honest,
Is there a
participated
song?
in.
Is there a song that goes with the Wheel of
Did you
Recommendations?
Wheel
expect that
of
I wasn't gonna do it?
Recommendations!
Or maybe not a song, but like a saying, like kind of like the Animaniacs, Wheel of Morality, turn, 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 tell us a lesson that we should learn.
It's the
No.
wheel of
Okay.
recommendations. Spin, spin, spin. Tell us where to spit in our
Wheel of Recommendations.
pin,
Shut the fuck
pin,
up,
pin.
salutations.
I like it.
Alright. Let me pull up the wheel. Wheel of Names. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
What?
The wheel.
It's a
The
wheel.
wheelman.
I spin the wheel. Genesis can predict the future because Genesis is going first. And who? Ow. Who's he recommending?
um,
Me.
No, no, this is the
It
wheel
is
game.
you. Yeah, no, it is. What the fuck? All right.
Make a recommendation for yourself. No.
you
Genesis to Desinoto.
want me to recommend this boy something?
Yes.
Oh, damn. What
It's
do
a
I
game. It's got to
recommend
be
him?
streaming somewhere. You gotta give it to him or whatever. And if it's a TV show, movie, same thing.
You know what? I recommend you play Resident Evil 8 since you have not played that yet, and you still have my godforsaken copy.
Again, Desinoto, you can pop into it for 10 minutes to satisfy this. So.
Maybe once.
Oh, I
Once
think I
before.
forgot to mention the important part about this.
Yeah.
If this is a points thing.
Oh.
I forgot to tell you guys
Um.
about that. Or maybe I purposely left that out to see who would actually participate. So if
I
it's
have a
like a
feeling you guys thought I wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah, I 100% thought you weren't going to do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We'll see. So the point of
Wow.
this is to recommend each other stuff, but we're also kind of verse each other. Where you want to recommend something to them, but you want them to enjoy it so much because the more they like it or enjoy it, the more they get to the more points you earn. So Kevin, he played Chia. He's going to play it again. That's still only 1 point because we don't know what he's going to feel about it. Death Stranding, Genesis gets 2 points because I like it more than I thought I would. And
Mm.
then Genesis, you played the RE4 demo and you said you wanted to buy it. That's another 2 points.
Yep. Yep.
So, and that Destiny would recommend that to you, right?
He did.
But he didn't play anything, so he loses a point.
Oh.
So, yeah,
Get fucked.
get fucked. Get fucked. But everybody, if you participate, you still gain points, and if people play your stuff and they like it, or if they don't play it and you don't, if they like Genesis, you recommended to Destinoto, or who recommended it, or Kevin,
I did.
and so you would get a point because he didn't play it or
Okay.
watch it or whatever. So
Makes
there's
sense.
yeah, so you get points, you lose points. It's all very possible. So just a heads up. So try to recommend something that they would actually like.
I thought I recommended Blue Lock to him.
You did. Kevin recommended.
I recommended Norman Gun, which neither of you watched.
Oh, Kevin,
So
you
do
weren't assigned to Destinoto. You just recommended it to Genesis, right? And then you were like, also Destinoto, if you want to
yeah,
watch
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
So,
pretty sure
but I
that's what
didn't
it
Oh,
was.
watch Jormungandr, but I
oh,
played RE4. So Kevin gains a point because of me, and
Correct.
Destinoto gains 2 points because of me. So in turn, even though I did half of what I was supposed to do, I'm still in last place.
No.
Oh no, because you liked the game, I recommended to you, and I got 2 points. Never
Correct.
mind, I'm stupid. I don't know how to do math.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. I'm dumb.
All right, let's see who's next. Destinota will do you. We'll spin for you, okay? Who are you going to recommend? Let's see. Kevin, it is.
Hmm. Did you play the RE4 demo, Kevin?
He's just letting everybody play the RE4 demo.
Now, well, because I know you were very put off by the everything they showed progressively. As they kept showing more, you kept getting more put off, right?
Yes.
From
That's how
wanting to
Diablo
play
4 worked, too. Let's just remind ourselves of that.
it. Well, I would recommend playing the demo because it's got some nice little Easter eggs,
Okay.
pretty good representation of the final game because it basically plays almost the same, looks mostly the same too. Um, yeah, yeah,
The
good.
RE4 demo is what you're getting.
Yep.
2 weeks in a row. All right, Kevin, who are you going to recommend to?
I don't know.
It's me.
Recommending to you? Oh
Yep.
no. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. You hit me with a game. I feel like I gotta hit you back with a game. Game do I recommend from
You can do
Kevin?
anything you want.
I know I can.
Also, for me, it doesn't matter where things are streaming. I can access them. I have every streaming service, is what I'll say. So if you want me to watch something, I'm down for that too. So
Oh, that's fair. Okay. Um. God, but you watch so much stuff.
I watch a lot of things.
You really do. Um. Oh, what have I seen that's been really good that you may not have watched?
You can throw a couple things out of there, and then I can pick
Did
or
you
whatever.
watch Bridge of Spies?
I have not seen Bridge of Spies. It's
I
been in my
recommend Bridge
Netflix
of
queue for
Spies.
35 years.
I recommend Bridge of Spies to you.
Bridge of Spies.
Make sure
That's
you
Jared
take
Harris,
a
isn't
sit
it?
down and. I think so,
Yeah.
actually. And Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Bridge of Spies. All right.
I highly recommend you like do this when you can focus.
Yeah,
It is a very heavy dialogue
I'll tell you
based.
what. Whenever I watch something, I'm only focusing. I don't look at my phone when I
Okay.
watch stuff. I'm not one of those people. Also, when people do that, it pisses me off, even though I understand that it's fine. So, yeah. All right, Bridge of Spies. I will watch Bridge of Spies. I'm finally that movie's finally coming out of my queue.
There you go.
All right, now I get to pick. I'll spin the wheel. I won't get free reign, unfortunately. Come on, Genesis. Come on, Genesis. Come on, Genesis. That's fucking me. Hold on.
No, it doesn't look like Jared Harris is in it.
He's not?
I don't
That's a
think so,
shame.
unless he's way down on this list.
That's a shame.
No, the two highest
Oh,
paid are
yeah.
Tom Hanks and Mark Rylance.
Oh, Mark Rylance. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Genesis, it's time. I got you.
It's time, my friend. What do you want me to do?
It's time. I'm not giving you
Yo,
Joker.
what? What's his
Okay.
face from Stranger Things is in this?
What am I giving you? Could be a game. Could be a movie. Could be a TV show. Could be a song.
I can't.
It's not a
A
song.
song.
Yeah, if I had a song I wanted you to listen to. mm.
I'm surprised you're not making a Joker for the first one.
I'm not doing Joker. I'm not. Because I know Desinoda wants to live with that. I know he wants to give that to you, even though he gave you RE4 demo. Thinking about doing a callback, an old callback,
Okay.
a really old callback. One of the first jokes we started.
What? Okay.
I want you to watch 500 Days of Summer. It's on
Oh
HBO
shit.
Max.
Oh god. No,
That's one of
please.
our oldest callbacks.
Oh no.
Didn't expect that, did you, you son of a bitch?
Oh no. Oh. Okay.
Which would
Okay.
you rather have, that or Joker?
Oh Lord of mercy.
Okay, I feel like there's some context for everybody else on this. um, so 500 Days of Summer is one of my favorite
I'm the
movies.
hero of the story and I need to be saved.
Yeah, I don't need to be saved.
Oh,
So
I don't need to
500
be
Days
saved.
of Summer is one of my favorite movies because it's literally by the guy who directed the Amazing Spider-Man movies. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zoe Deschanel, and it's like a love story, but it's not. It's called 500 Days of Summer because this guy dates this girl Summer for 500 days, and it just talks about the relationship and how he remembers it and how it actually was. And there is one scene in it that's fucking fantastic, and I used to watch it all the time, especially when I wasn't playing anything. I would just go on YouTube and I would just watch that scene. And there's a song in there that I would always sing, and it would go, "I'm the hero of the story. I don't need to be changed." And this happened a lot back in the day when Genesis was in, I don't know, still the fun parts of his relationship where things could go any way. And I was like, man, you got to watch this movie. And every time he said, yeah, maybe one day. And then eventually just started saying no. So this is like a
Well,
10-year-old joke. So yeah.
I'll let you pick my death, please. Don't make me
No.
pick. You pick my death. What would you like me to do?
500 Days of Summer.
Okay, you got it. I'll watch it.
I honestly really think you'd like Joker. 500 Days of Summer, I have no fucking clue. You know what? Here we go. This is what I'm gonna do. Surprise me on which one you watch, Joker or 500 Days of Summer. I think both of them are on HBO Max. I don't know about Joker. Let me check.
Jeez.
Again, we
have Joker if he needs it.
it's also on HBO
Just
Max. Destinoto and I both believe that you would really like Joker, and
yeah,
also
there's
the
like no
sequel's
reason why you wouldn't.
filming, and it's a musical that stars Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. We don't need to talk about that, but like, Joker's amazing. It's better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
And 500 Days of Summer also really good.
Okay,
Also really good.
I'll watch one of them, and
I
I
can't
will complete this
wait.
task before next Tuesday.
I can't wait till I get like -5 points because you watched both of them and you hated both. No, I think you'd like Joker, and I'm pretty positive on 500 Days of Summer. All right, so that's Genesis to Destinoto, Resident Evil 8, Destinoto. You also have last week's thing, and then also Jormungandr that Kevin threw at you. So please write these down. Destinoto Kevin, RE4 demo. Kevin, I hear it's pretty
Yep.
short, so do it up. I have to watch Bridge of Spies. Pretty excited about that, gotta be honest. And then Genesis has to watch either 500 Days of Summer or Joker. So I
Man,
think
oh
we got
man.
everybody, right?
Yes, we do.
Wow, that actually worked out this time.
See?
Huh. Weird.
There you go.
Alright. Maybe we'll just
All
do
right.
that next time, too.
Okay.
Then I'll...
All right, folks. We got anything else we want to talk about this week?
Yes.
Go ahead.
E3's dead.
Yes. I can help attribute to this topic as well. I just seen that Sega and Tencent also pulled out of
I sent that
E3.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just reading a little bit more about that. Rumor is that more companies are going to be announcing that they're pulling out of E3 as the week goes on. More to Adam's sentiment, E3 is officially dead. I think they're going to cancel this year's event since there's pretty much going to be no vendors showing up. Um, I guess it's a a bittersweet moment. Like it's it's sad that something that big that we used to get hype for, you know, quite often has died. But at the same time, pretty they were pretty much on their way to death. They have lost their touch with um, overall like how E3 shows should be.
Mm-hmm.
The showcases were not as good as as they should be. They declined every year unless you were Sony or um, I guess unless you were Sony or Microsoft, I guess. Although Microsoft shows were hit and miss as well.
They're
Sony really
mostly
was,
entertaining, I would say.
yeah.
Still,
Sony and Microsoft were really the only two that kept that thing alive because the hype for those two were just through the roof. You know, it's like, what was Sony gonna do? What was Microsoft gonna do? And when Nintendo first pulled out, I think we were like, wow, that's fucking stupid. Like Nintendo's pulling out, they're doing
yeah,
these stupid directs, and directs are pretty
we
much what everybody does
we
now
were absolutely
because
wrong about that. Nintendo was
yep,
right.
yeah, we were wrong about that. We should have read the future and been like, yeah, it's Nintendo's going in the right direction because everybody decided to do what Nintendo did. So kudos to Nintendo. You guys are the front runners for the next the future of how to showcase your games.
Well, I still think state of plays are more entertaining than directs.
I would agree. But
Because
Microsoft is following suit with that now because they're like, we're done as well. Like we're out.
theirs have been not great.
No, no. They
Everything
have a
you
lot to
see here,
learn
next
from
12 months. All right,
a
first
lot,
game.
all lies.
2.5 years later.
Yeah, so Microsoft has a lot to learn from Sony and Nintendo about how
Yep.
to properly do shows and expectations. I'm sure it'll get there, but it is again, like I said earlier, it is saddening to see that this is something that we used to get so hyped for. Adam used to take time off and be like, "It's E3 time, boys. I'm taking time
Sir,
off
I
of
still
work."
take the amount of time off during that time.
Well,
Because usually
mm,
showcases still happen.
yeah,
So I don't take
but
as much time off as I did. I used to take a whole week.
yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah,
It was
I
a real
mean,
big deal.
E3's for me. Every time we talk about this, I've said the same thing. E3's been dead for years. Um, it's literally been completely dead. Everybody was pulling out of it even before the pandemic. They were just doing shows around the exact same time, and then
The
like E3,
pandemic accelerated the death of it,
yeah,
basically.
the pandemic was like, hey, this is what's happening now. You guys need to modernize. You need to adapt, and then it slowed down game development, so there weren't a lot of games to announce. So like everything slowed down, and
They tried to even like um let the public into. There was a one year that they were like, hey, we want to invite the public, and I don't know, I think it was like they charged some stupid prices for tickets for the
yeah,
people to get
they
in.
they did a lot of things wrong. And then E3 also doesn't even exist anymore. A new company was taking over it to do E3. That's why this kind of fell apart because they didn't organize everything in time. So a lot of the big publishers started pulling out, like Tencent, Ubisoft, and all that. But then Ubisoft already announced they have a show the same week, June 9th. So like E3 again has been dead for years. Nobody's really watched E3 anytime E3 was happening, people would just watch IGN's coverage of what's happening at E3. You're not watching E3. Most people weren't on the Twitch channel for E3. They weren't on. I mean, G4 TV wasn't airing E3 anymore. Like E3 was dead, and it was just barely hanging on. Then the pandemic happened, the pandemonium, some would say, and in 2021 they were like, it's still E3 and we'll see you next year live in 2022. And then that fell apart and died, and then this year it's dying again. Casino, what the fuck? Construction simulator. he uh he said that maybe if they get their stuff together and then they have a small show, they can get some of the bigger publishers back. I don't think that's happening.
No, I think they're dead for good
Yeah,
now.
I would just let it go. It's not needed. Like the E3 for the consumer is such a nothing anymore. big publishers, even small publishers, invite people out. There's literally a million outlets that do their own shows now. There's like
Jeff Keighley being one of them.
Jeff Keighley, he's E3 now. He's the guy
Yeah,
organizing everything. His summer game fest and the fucking game awards and whatever the hell else he has. Those are the shows. When Sony puts a state of play or a showcase out, that's the show. Microsoft, they have their indie show. They have their own showcases and whatever the hell they call their indie thing. I don't know. What the hell is it called?
developers,
ID at
something.
Xbox, thank you.
ID Xbox, yeah.
Yeah, they have that. Nintendo's doing directs, and then they're doing mini directs. Um,
They did a mini direct, I think, today with
today,
Zelda.
yeah, 10 minutes of Zelda stuff, and people were like, "Zelda, cool, can't wait, May," and I was like, "Zelda, good luck." But yeah, Ubisoft, they're doing their own thing. Still shit. That's for you, Genesis.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Even though I think their Assassin's Creed conference last year that they did, I liked. I do think it was like fun enough. But yeah, there's just a bunch of publishers doing their own thing. It's cheaper for them. It's easier. So why have E3? Like, there's a billion outlets that will come to your studio for free just to preview your game. Why do you have to rent a large space in June from a
Yeah,
company that's not really doing too much for you that you can't tweet out yourself? And Wario will retweet it, and it's been seen by more people than any E3 stream. So
yeah, it just seems like a more of a time thing.
yeah,
Like way back when nobody would really cover games, and that was the only way people could showcase everything, right? And you
yeah.
couldn't stream. Now everybody can literally stream anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even want to say I'll miss E3 because during that time in June, I'll still refer to it as E3 because E3 hasn't been E3 for years. Because it's like,
Yeah,
hey, E3 is that time of year that I'm literally just talking about mid June where everyone's going to put on a little bit of a show, and if it's not everyone, it's most of them still. And if not, then in a couple months within that area, there will be stuff. So I still think we're going to have a good June. We're going to have some showcases then. Again, Ubisoft's already confirmed one for June 9th. Microsoft definitely going to have one. Sony, there's a rumor of a showcase in May, probably June. It, really, anything could happen. So I don't think we've lost too much here, even though it's kind of sad for an end of a legacy. So I just
hmm
figured we want to just talk about that a little bit. Kevin, you got anything?
No.
The bitch is dead. Is that what you?
Yeah,
Yeah, all
pretty
right,
much.
cool.
I mean, it's just expected.
Yeah,
And honestly, uh, most of Microsoft's crap that they're supposedly developing also probably dead. But that has yet to be seen.
Well,
I don't know about that part, but all right, yeah, sure. All right,
okay.
Perfect Dark, probably
Kevin.
pretty good.
Perfect Dark is coming, and when it comes out, 3 months later, Genesis is going to be like, "Hey, it's Perfect Dark," and we're going to be like, "What? Sir, you're supposed to take scores for that 3 months ago," and he's like, "Oh, I just saw it." I'd be like, "Sir, you're so late."
Yeah,
Get it?
I think Perfect Dark's gonna get canceled.
Me
I,
too,
I
honestly.
don't think at all. I just don't think. I just wanted to point that out to you guys. No, I don't think
Heard
it's
it
gonna
here
get
first.
canceled. Will it come out? Maybe.
I don't know. Given
Maybe it'll be like
Microsoft's,
Agent. They'll just never talk about it again. It'll never be
the thing
officially
is
canceled.
like, well, maybe the thing with the Microsoft right now, with some of the, I fully expect there's going to be another either division cut or layoff that's going to come from Microsoft real soon. Um,
Hey guys, we bought Activision. You all don't have jobs now.
yeah, that might actually be something.
Hey
Um,
guys, this is Greg. He's finishing development on Diablo 4. No, all of it. No, Greg does every position now. So Greg
um,
will tweet about it later, but he's got to finish polishing some of the graphics.
I given that they just removed the $1 thing, the $1 trial for subscribers now for Game Pass,
All
I
right,
would expect that some of those numbers may potentially drop. Not
real
a
quick.
significant amount, but go ahead.
that $1 thing ran for way longer than I thought it would ever run for,
Oh
because
yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
it
and
was
that probably was
so
a huge
easy.
popular thing for them.
It was literally so easy to sign up for $1, get 3 months, and then make a new account and a different credit card and do the exact same thing. And that's what people were doing. And a lot of people were also using their Microsoft reward points and getting gift cards to then do that. Because there was a way around it every time. And for the longest time, it was so easy. I literally had Game Pass for like 9 months because I paid $4 for it, or $3. I paid a stupid amount of money for 9 months of Game Pass. I didn't do anything because my PC. I was like, I don't feel like playing it. But like, I'm shocked that ran for as long as it did. I know some people will stop using it. I don't know if it'll affect the numbers too much, and if it does, they just won't announce the numbers for that quarter, or it'll
Yeah,
go up a point. That family plan still has to come out, I think.
yeah, I don't think that's live yet. I think the family plan is still
I think
in
that's
the stages of
fall.
development or coming out. Yeah, coming out.
Yeah. Also, they might have laid
I
off the people who were working on it. So.
Yeah.
unfortunately, yes, I think that may have been the case. I think there's gonna be a decline. Yeah, I think to your point, they're not gonna talk about the numbers. I think there's gonna be a slight decline of Game Pass in there, given that it's gone. But it's very interesting to see their position right now because given the surplus of money that Microsoft just has, at their disposal, it's odd to see, and honestly, the abysmal failures that have come out of Xbox's division. For a little while now.
I
Obviously, I think
mean,
their
yeah.
only really critically acclaimed success so far has been Forza, and that one game that what the hell was that came out on Xbox the day it was announced? Uh,
Oh, that premium
something that was like it
overrush.
looked like Sunset Overdrive,
Yeah, premium overrush.
something like
Not what
that.
it
It
was
was
called.
yes,
Hi-Fi
something.
Rush.
Hi-Fi
Yeah.
Rush. That's yeah.
Yeah,
That
wow,
was their
Jesus.
other game that was like that came out and really knocked it out of the park. I mean, Halo's
Yeah, but that
been a
was
pretty.
a Bethesda thing.
Is that a Bethesda thing?
Yeah, that was like a
Mm,
Bethesda or Activision thing. That
yeah.
was,
I mean,
which
they
is
own
also
Bethesda.
Xbox.
Activision, I'm not too sure. Yeah, Activision. I mean, yeah, they don't
But
officially own Activision
I
yet,
mean,
but yeah,
Deathloop was
that's
critically and commercially a success. Ghostwire Tokyo,
yes.
not so much either. I don't think, but
It
still
was
life,
it was a
still has a
middle of the
following.
pack. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
middle of the pack. I
they have
mean,
had
meaning, but their
Inscription.
flagships,
They've had
like
games.
yeah, but they're the ones that they've relied on. Their flagships have failed them.
Sea of Thieves is like still one of the most popular live service games currently.
Halo came out pretty badly. Starfield, we'll see
Halo,
what it does, but
Halo's the thing. Starfield. Every day I'm like, I fucking wish I can get a platinum in that game,
um,
and hate every minute of it. Because
there's
that's
another
what
one that
I'll do.
I'm missing right now that recently came out. I just didn't do anything for Xbox. Crossfire X.
Wait, yeah, we
Um,
don't. I don't think they thought that was going to do anything.
no, but the
I consider
China
that
thing is probably
what the hell was that? That fucking car game that came out on PlayStation.
Destruction All Stars.
Yeah, I consider
But
Crossfire
the
X the
difference is
Destruction All Stars of Xbox.
Destruction All Stars is still running, and Crossfire X is going to cease to
Yeah, but it's
exist in
still
a little bit.
running because 3 people are still in it, and they're like, "This is a great game," and even the developers are like, "Get the fuck off the server so we can close it." Like this game sucks.
But
The best I've heard about it is it's playable. That's the
yeah,
best I've heard about Destruction All Stars.
but
Oh, it's
Crossfire X
playable
wasn't.
now. No, Crossfire X still not playable as far as I'm
No.
aware.
So my whole point of mentioning this, it's just very interesting to see what they're going to do at this point because I do think there's going to be layoffs that hit them again, or a division wipe, or something like
That's
that.
just
That's going
going
to happen.
around though.
It's not, but it's not affecting everybody, is what I'm saying. Like
Affects a lot of people.
it is, but it's not affecting every single person. Not meaning like not every single company is going through. Like I don't think Sega's laid off any people. I don't think Sony's laid off
How
any
many people
people.
work at Sega?
There's
A
still
lot.
quite a bit. Sega's a lot. Sega's a big company.
That's shocking to me.
Sega's
Well, Sega
huge.
does more than video games. Are you
Oh,
talking
Yeah,
that's
about just
true.
Sega
video
does.
game division?
Yeah,
Now, video game sector, how many people work at Sega? You know what I mean?
No idea.
I
Like
mean,
11?
no, quite a bit, people.
I don't know.
they're still responsible for the Persona games. They're still responsible for Sonic. They're still responsible
Yeah, for
for
publishing it. They don't develop them. I thought they used outside studios for that stuff.
it's Atlas in partnership with Sega to do Persona, and then
Yeah, in
Sonic
partnership. They're
is.
not owned by Sega, are they? Didn't we look into this once?
You can look into it
I
again
don't
if you
want to
want
look
to,
into it
but
again.
it's
I'll
fine.
just say you're right on this.
Um, Sony's not going through a lot right now.
The Japanese companies are not yet.
No, it seems like the Japanese companies so far are avoiding this for now.
American companies are like, you show up to work, your badge doesn't work. Get the fuck out. You've been fired. We're not even laying you off. We're not paying you. You're
It's
fired.
it's crazy.
Sega has Relic. They got employees.
Who the
Oh,
fuck is Relic?
They make strategy games.
Hmm.
yeah, I would not be surprised if we see a delay for a couple more of their games. Like, I don't think they're going to delay Starfield again, but I think
No, I'm pretty sure that's coming.
Microsoft may delay further in the pipeline some other games that they expected to be out by 2024. Like I don't think Fable's going to see the light of day until
No.
2026 or
No, I don't think so
2025.
either.
Um,
What about
I the
Hellblade?
Hellblade probably delayed in 24.
They
I
keep
don't think
showing it
that's.
off at like Unreal Engine things. I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody
but
saw that footage, by the way.
the
They had
problem I
those.
think is their projects are getting screwed over because of just
Overweight.
the consolidation they're doing, the overall layoffs and I mean overall, I think they're shifting their strategies because some things are just not working. Like no matter how much they hype up fucking Game Pass, I mean, yes, it's a good, it's a big product, and I'm sure it makes them money. But I think their original projections of Game Pass, unless I'm wrong with that, I don't remember if there was a recent interview that says like, oh, we've surpassed our projections or anything like that. Um, I don't
There
think it's
was
meeting.
an interview where they previously they surpassed their projections. So then they adjusted their projections. Then they failed to meet those projections.
So as of now, it's not meeting expectations of the company.
But that's something Phil Spencer said a long time ago, where they're like, we're not expecting Game Pass to be the best.
Profitable for
Yeah,
us.
we're not expecting it to do anything until like 2025, 2026.
See
It's
now,
literally just a door. But yeah,
yeah,
the point you're about to make, I agree with. I already know what you're
yeah.
gonna say. Go ahead.
I think all these things in factor of one another. They're making this chain reaction to Microsoft that unfortunately is affecting them in a negative way now. Where yes, they have deep ass pockets to sponsor whatever they want to sponsor, but I think things are getting out of control. They're spiraling. I think a little too erratically for Microsoft and for Phil Spencer at this point. It's an interesting dynamic because like Phil Spencer I think is a in terms of if you had to compare him to Jim Ryan, he is a more for the people than Jim Ryan. Like he's more like, hey, I want to
Jim
be
Ryan's
vocal
for
with you guys.
nobody. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Jim
Jim
Ryan's
Ryan is
for
for
profit.
Jim
That's
Ryan.
what Jim
Yes, Jim
Ryan
Ryan.
is.
But and yeah, Jim Ryan is for profit. He is for the company. He's for the shareholders. He's there to increase the stock of Sony. Oh, well, not Sony, but increase PlayStation's divisions to then increase the stock of Sony.
Yeah.
Um, Phil Spencer is a person who will be out on Twitter and talking to people out there and maybe over promising and under delivering some things, but I think he's gotten better at that now. He's like, yeah, I got to learn to shut my mouth and
Yeah.
not say certain things. Um, these it's just so interesting to see that dynamic where Jim Ryan does not have as deep pockets as Phil Spencer does, but it seems like everything just keeps going. I don't want to say it's going wrong for Phil, but like everything keeps spinning out of control for him, and he's trying desperately to pull everything back together, and it's just not fucking working for him.
Yeah. Uh, Again, I still think he has a good control over a lot of things, but there's
I
just
agree.
some things where he's like, "Hey, it didn't pan out this year, and I mean, Kevin talks about this a lot too. Like every year it starts, they go, "We got a great year coming for games," and then by the end of the year, they're like, "All right, it didn't work out. Maybe next year." And they've been doing that for the past, I don't know, 7, 8 years. Like,
Hmm.
I honestly do think that they're gonna pump out some games this year and be successful with them. I like Starfield. I think that's gonna be like one of the biggest of this year.
For their sake, I hope
Yeah,
so. If it
I
fails,
think
it's
it'll
going to be
be.
a.
I think it'll hit 10 million before the year's over. I wouldn't
Do
be
you think it's going to be
surprised.
a critically acclaimed success, or do you think it's going to be like 80s but still sell like fucking
I mean,
gangbusters?
I think it's going to be widely praised by a lot of outlets, but I don't think it's going to be well loved by everybody. It's going to be like a Fallout. It's going to be like, holy shit, this is going to define a generation of gamers. But then also, this game sucks and it's buggy as shit because it's a classic Bethesda. Um, I still think it's going to be popular, and I'll watch clips of it and I'll be like, fuck, I guess I'm getting a PC and fucking play this on
Only
my
one
PC,
thing I
piece of
want
shit.
from Bethesda this year.
Doom 64.
I mean, they already released that technically.
No, I mean
Um,
the 64th game in the
oh,
reboot series.
interesting. We skipped a lot of numbers.
Yeah, they skipped 61 of them to get to the 64th.
No, I want Quake to be announced.
No, they're not gonna do that.
Who was who was the guy before Jim Ryan? I forgot his name.
Sean Layden.
Yeah,
Miss fucking Sean Layden.
I think I think the Phil Spencer's the worst Sean Layden
Oh, interesting. Wow, that's a whole different
because
topic, honestly. If we want to jump into that, I'd be down to jump into that.
I'm going to jump into that.
Sean Layden's a worse Jack Trenton.
I would agree. I
But
would agree.
also,
Jack
but
Trenton is the
also,
fucking holy saint of PlayStation.
also, Sean Layden could have been a better Jack Trenton if he didn't leave the way he left. If it was
Yes.
still Sean
mm,
Layden, I think we would have got a. I think we would have gotten a Days Gone 2. I think. I just think a lot more games would be here. I honestly do think that a PlayStation Home in PSVR 2 would be a thing if Sean Layden was still at this company.
I think you're right.
Because
I
Sean
think you're
Layden
right.
was like, yeah, I listen to the people, but also like, hey, let's do something wild. Like he was all
Yes.
for like that. He was a showman, which Jack Trenton was all about. But Jack Trenton was a fucking genius. Jack Trenton and Andrew House, and then Andrew House and Sean Layden, those two knew what they were doing. Then Andrew House left, and then a lot of people left. Gio Corsi left. Like a lot of people at Sony left in regards to
hmm.
PlayStation stuff. And then they rearranged the company, and they're like, Jim Ryan, you're in charge of all of it. You're not even in charge of the Europeans anymore. You're just in charge of Sony America. And he was like, cool. Shuhei, you're indies now. Shuhei's killing it with indies, but again, PlayStation's still struggling with indies sometimes. But Jim Ryan's like, money. I like money. I like money. You're not money. Fuck off. And it's great. And I wish they would
To
make a movie
Jim's
about Jim
credit
Ryan
though,
starring Tom
to
Hardy.
Jim Ryan's credit, I'm stumbling on my words. I don't know what's going on. Um, to Jim Ryan's credit, he has definitely kept PlayStation on top. Like PlayStation is still the place to
But is it
play.
because of him though?
Well,
That's a
I
good
feel like
question.
it's because of everything else, and he's just
so
kind of
Jim
there
he
Ryan
that
has
he
hired the right people
yeah.
yes,
to
he's a
keep
good he's got
PlayStation in
good
first.
talent management. He's not okay. So like okay, I'll use an example here, and I'm going to use what I work for. You have the dude who turned us upside down, which was John Ledger.
Uh-huh.
This dude stayed in our company for 7 years and then dipped. Right?
The hero, of course.
Yeah, he is revered as the hero, and a lot of people who have left and who are still here miss him to the point where they feel like if he was still here, we'd be going in a different direction. Um, and he was legitimately revered as like this dude was the reason why T-Mobile is the way it is. And for a lot of, for a good reason it is. Yeah, he wasn't talent management. He was the man. Like he was the inspirational leader in front of all of us, and he was this like showman like in on TV. Like hey, fuck Verizon, fuck AT&T. Like
Mm-hmm.
he and people enjoy that. Then comes Mike Sievert. And Mike Sievert is a very similar to Ryan. He's very money, like everything is money. He's a very numbers and money driven person, which is good for the company, good for shareholders, not necessarily what the people want. And a lot of people will say he is nowhere near Ledger in terms of what he does, but he's good talent management. He's hired people in here and appointed people to where they should be and where the company is still taking off to a point where we are like overtaking AT&T and Verizon in such a way. Um, and similarly, Jim Ryan, he's not the person. He's not the guy who we're all like, yeah, fuck yeah, Jim Ryan, like that's who we want. Like no, Jack Trenton, 110%. Andrew House, 110%.
Sean
Even
Layden,
Sean Layden,
90%.
absolutely. um, he is probably a good 30 or 40%. Like yeah, Jim Ryan. Um, but he is excellent talent management. I think he is aware and he understands where people need to go in this company to keep the company profitable. And I mean, right now he's doing an excellent job with making money for Sony. Sony's stock is doing well. I'll admit it's not as well as there was a point when it was like $100 something.
Yeah, it was like 120 for a hot minute, or
But I think
117 or something like that. It was stupid high.
yeah, I do think that has to do some bit with the pandemic, some bit
Yeah,
sort of from
the war in
PlayStation.
Ukraine and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah. A lot
there's
of
a
that,
lot.
a lot
Yeah.
of that applies into it. But for the most part, he's been keeping their stocks high, and he has his decisions that he's made have made PlayStation a fantastic place to be. Now, if Sean Layden or Andrew House or Jack Trent were here, I think we'd be in a completely different era of PlayStation where Microsoft, I don't think Microsoft would even dream of being in that space. However,
Even now they dream of it though.
yes, but they're still years behind. They're still years behind.
Okay.
But the difference though is I think money and profit wise, they'd be in a decline. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of the things that Layden and House and Trenton did cost Sony a lot of money to do. All the wild ideas that they want to do that costs them money, R&D, things like that. Ryan's like, if it costs us this much money and it doesn't financially make sense, we're not going to do this. But hey, if it financially makes sense, it's going to be a fucking hit. Let's do it.
Yeah.
AKA The Last of Us TV show.
I mean, fucking that
You
worked
know,
out for them a lot.
yes, it did. It could have ended very badly. It could have ended horribly, like some of the Spider-Man movies they made, some of the
Uncharted.
decisions. Yeah, the Uncharted movie.
Bad.
It could have ended like that, but this is the financial understanding he has. We would be in a fantastic, much crazier, probably dreamlike state with Sony if Trenton House or Layden were here. Or maybe let's keep it to House and Trenton because I don't know
I'll
about Layden 110%.
I'll tell you what. I think Jack Trenton was the one who. He was the one who. I don't. It's not even. I think Jack Trenton was the one who shot Sony back into, like, him and Andrew House shot Sony back up. They were the ones who took it
Adam,
from.
hang on one second. A viewer's asking, what did I walk into? Derp Pikachu 123. You walked into. We're talking about the CEOs of Sony and how
Yeah,
they've
the heads
really kept the
of
company. Yeah, the heads
PlayStation and
of
all of them.
PlayStation and Sony. Sorry, yeah, and how
Yeah.
they've given it up. Anyway, Adam, continue.
Jack Trenton, Andrew House, they were the ones that took Sony and PlayStation way higher than it should have gone back then. Because back then, it was not going great. It was not going great if you were a PlayStation
3
fan.
era? No.
Yeah, you were not having. You still enjoyed your console, of course. But
of course.
We
were the only Blu-ray player around.
Yeah, the best one still.
Yeah.
But they literally took the company and just catapulted it to the sky. And then Jack left it with Sean Layden. Sean Layden, he continued moving, not at the breakneck pace that Jack Tretton did, but he didn't need to do that. Him and Mark Cerny teamed up. They did the PS4. They launched that. Andrew House, he was still there, trucking along, got that up there. Sean Layden left. Jim Ryan came in. I would say not so much on the incline, except in sales. Is there
Uh-huh.
innovation coming from Sony? I'd still say yes, because there's always
Uh-huh.
innovation coming from an electronics
We'd be
company.
on such a higher incline of innovation, though, if the other two were here.
Now
But
that's where I
mhm.
kind of go 50-50.
Oh,
If
tell me.
Sean Layden was still in charge, he did not believe in a PlayStation Plus Extra. He did not believe in games like that. He was
Interesting.
so against that. Jim Ryan was like, money? Money. I see money. Money possible? Money. Sean Layden probably would have expanded Plus, but he wouldn't have done like a PS Plus Extra, I don't think.
Or a PS Plus Premium or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I don't think he would have done that. And like that's fine, whatever. I don't think he would have shut down the PS3 store. I do think that streaming would be a bigger priority for him still. Because he was the one who was in charge of the Gaikai thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or if that was
Which is
Jack
still,
Tretton. Yeah,
it's still a project. They're still
yeah.
working on it. Yeah,
I mean,
they
Gaikai
continuously
is,
work
is
on it.
gone. It's not even Gaikai anymore. It's not called that anymore.
It's been rebranded, I think, to something
Yeah,
else,
it's PlayStation streaming or whatever the hell it is.
or PlayStation Cloud or whatever the hell they call
Yeah,
it.
but I think that I don't know if sales for PlayStation 5 and the decisions that Jim Ryan has made, I don't think Sean Layden would have made those exact decisions. And I don't know if PlayStation would be as profitable as they are now if Sean Layden was still in charge.
Okay,
Like,
so
I don't know if
you
they would
agree
have
with my
raised the
point.
price. Yeah, I don't know if they would have raised the price throughout the world. I don't know if VR2 would have been as high of a price as it was. I
Yeah.
don't know if we would have more games now. I think we would have more ideas of games. I just don't think we'd have more games now. But I still think the idea of them would be there, and we'd be like, holy shit, I can't wait for Infamous 3 in the next 2 years or whatever. Like, I do
We
think
would
there's.
be in a different sense of PlayStation where I think we would be excited for different things, but those different things would have blown our minds.
Yeah, it's just so like Sean Layden could have done great things, but also he could have tanked the company, like doing
Yes.
those great things. Jim Ryan is such a like it's the bottom line, that's all that matters.
Yes.
And as as sometimes as we hate that, because that guy sometimes just shows up and he just sucks. And
It's
sometimes we
necessary
just
for this
it's necessary
company
for
though.
the times that we're in, as we all
Yes.
remember those commercials in 2020. These are
Yeah.
unprecedented times
Yeah.
that have lasted for now 3 years.
Very,
So
very similar to like John Ledger and Mike Sievert is that John Ledger, if he stayed and he kept doing the things like introducing these on carrier things and doing what they kept doing for the last 7 years, we would have burned through so much more money than we did already
yeah,
uh, in the integration and buying out of Sprint and things like that. Like Sievert has clearly saved some money here and to do what he had to do and continue to keep T-Mobile's price, stockholders and shareholders happy, and keep the price of the stock up.
yeah.
In that way, it's very, very similar, and I kind of understand and I see it. I see it like that. Microsoft's side of things, Phil Spencer is the showman right
He's
now.
better than the fucking piece of shit that was before him. That guy
Don
sucked.
Matrick,
Yeah, that guy sucked. That guy,
yeah, he was
he
horrible.
was like, video games. I like the video games. That's where you press the buttons to move a character, right? Connect. He was like an
Yeah.
out of touch Jim Ryan.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
a good way
Thank
to
God Jim
explain.
Ryan still understands some stuff, even though he talks about dogs and cats in his emails. But
Phil Spencer is like
he
a
is currently the
powerless
showman.
Jack Tretton.
He is. I would agree with that. That is a pretty accurate statement of what he
Which
is.
sucks
He is the
because he seems to
showman.
have a lot of power, but he's nothing happens.
No, exactly. He's the showman who has this big show in his head, but he can't lay it out for everybody because when he does, it just doesn't get executed. It
Yeah.
really doesn't. And it's odd. It's so weird to see that, especially given the fucking deep pockets that Microsoft has. What the
Yeah, but
fuck?
then they got the whole thing going. Sony's like, hey, our PlayStation division's literally the only thing crushing it right now, so
That
we
and I think
trust Jim. Uh,
their music, I think, is the other one that crushes it. Their music
yeah.
is very high for them.
A final thing I want to say on this.
And financial.
And
Yeah,
financially,
financially.
I always forget about that. They do banking in
Yeah,
Japan. I forgot about
yeah,
that.
that's true. Yeah. But a final thing I want to say on this, I think Microsoft wouldn't be as willing to put Call of Duty on other platforms if Sean Layden was in charge. I don't think he would have fought this as hard as Jim Ryan is. I think this would have
I think
been.
I think Jim Ryan's fighting. Last time I read something about him, he was saying that
Oh, he's
he
still
just
fighting.
doesn't.
He's saying
Yeah,
whatever
he
the
just
fuck.
doesn't want this merger to go. He's like, I don't want this merger to go through at
Yeah,
all.
he doesn't want a deal. He doesn't want anything to happen. He wants Activision Blizzard to remain the large publisher that they are.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else is like, this literally won't harm competition.
I
But
think 11 congressmen of like U.S. or somewhere said that.
yeah, some dum
We
dums were
Yeah,
like,
we're seeing that. Oh yeah, it's not gonna impact the competition, so we don't
that
understand why Sony's getting all bent out of shape.
that 11 congressman thing was Japan,
Oh, okay,
where
I didn't know.
Sony is not very open to Microsoft in Japan, which is very true, but also that's Japan. And they're not very open to outside businesses doing business in Japan. They're not great with that. They have never been really great with that. They've gotten better over the last
Japan's
few years.
Japan's pretty like anti-foreigner at this point anyway. So
They're anti-foreign business. They're all
mhm.
for like travelers and stuff, but like
I don't know about that. They're not very
no,
fond
they
of
like tourism and
travelers.
stuff. A lot of their stuff
Mm,
is tourism, but also they were way worse. They've gotten a lot better. That's just
mm.
their culture and their stuff. I mean,
Yeah, no, I understand that point.
yeah,
Yeah, their culture is
but
very
like
like we love our people and we don't really like people from the
yeah,
outside.
Jim Ryan. If this man didn't fight against the Activision deal, that like nobody else could do what he's done.
This thing would have
Even if
already gone through, I think, if
yeah,
he didn't fight as hard.
even if um you think he's acting like a little bitch baby, sometimes he is. But also, his board probably fucking loves him because of how
I would
much
agree.
time it's delayed. But also, how many other people at this point are like, fucking thank you, Jim Ryan. Now Call of Duty's locked on almost every single platform except PlayStation for the next 10 years and beyond.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, Jim Ryan has fought for that. Um,
This thing is still going to go through, I think.
I
This is inevitable at this point.
at
It's
this
just going to go
point
through.
it will, I would guess. But also, I don't know and I don't care. I just find it very funny that hey, in 10 years, hey, for 10 years, it's fine. What about the 11th year? What does this not count as a problem in 11 years? Are we okay? Like, you guys realize that they're gonna still be owned by Microsoft in 11 years, right?
At
You,
that
I
point, they'll
just
make
want
it
to make that
exclusive.
clear. Yeah, like they can do whatever they want after 10 years, which in
I
business terms, not very long,
I think
especially for a $1 trillion company.
yes. I think if this goes through, I think Jim is going to refuse a deal from them. Like he's going to be like, you know what, forget it. I don't want it on our console.
I don't know about that.
Fuck you. I don't think
No,
he's going
he'll
to bend
probably
to
get
take the
a.
deal.
Oh, he will.
Mm.
He'll be backed into a corner. Now, will Microsoft give him that deal? No fucking clue. Will that fuck up PlayStation? Maybe. Will he then go sue Microsoft and be like, see, one of the biggest games is now
I
not on
mean,
PlayStation because of them,
I
and they'll
mean,
be like, you did this to yourself. Like,
unless Sony has in R&D somewhere has this Call of Duty killer, which that's a very tough. That's a very slim chance that they have anything like that. Extremely slim chance
yeah,
that they have something like that.
yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
listen, they've bought up all these things. They've made these partnerships. They have Bungie. They have all these other things at their disposal. I don't know whether they're gonna have something like that again. I'm saying the chance is extremely slim. But if they have some sort of Call of Duty killer just hiding in their R&D section, then maybe he's just buying time until they create this product.
Yeah, I don't know. They might not. Call of Duty's weird. People hate it and then they love it. Then it sucks. Then everybody boycotts it and then it sells the best it's ever sold. So
And you got two people here who hate the game and we still continue to play it.
Something wrong with you both, especially you. You sick
Yeah,
man.
I know.
All right. Anybody else have anything to say on this? Because I know you started the topic. Genesis and I kind of went off with it. Sorry about that.
No, it was mostly well said.
Cool.
Okay. With
Kevin, you still
time
with
in
us?
mind here.
Yep.
Cool.
You got anything on this, Kevin, or no?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So with time in mind, it's always it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll call it here, and I appreciate everybody who stopped in today to watch Crafting and Chat.
Two
You'll see us
commoners.
next. Yeah, you'll see us
Yeah.
next Tuesday, same time, same place. Twitch.tv/crafting and chat, youtube.com/starting too late with 2 R's. And sometimes pop in, drop some comments like that. We appreciate the comments, and we always appreciate the viewership. It's always great.
Love when people come in and go, "What the hell are they talking about? I don't understand. Let me
Yeah,
see what's happening."
it's great. It's good. We explain it sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Bye.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week, Tuesday. Stay safe out there. Take care, everybody, and fuck Ubisoft. Have a nice night, guys.
Yeah. Bye. Happy holidays.